Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Steve here. Today I want to go over a few parts that have come in. I'm going to talk about excuse me, I've got a couple frames here to compare to show you guys for racing purposes which one's the better frame and why. I've got some other stuff to show you. I got some parts that came in for the rubber mounted bike that I'm converting to carburetor and nitrous. And excuse me, sorry about that. Okay, so I got the new Dyna 2000i and a single fire coil. Okay, I got purge valve for the nitrous system. And y'all, this is the, unfortunately I have to send this back and get another one because I think I screwed up when I ordered it. But this is the Pingle, what they call the guzzler. Okay, this is a real high quality, high flow deal. It only has one port, and I wanted two ports. One to supply the carburetor, the other to supply the nitrous fuel pump. But this screws right onto that 22mm adapter that is on the tank. Okay, and it's just a simple on off. There's no reserve on this or anything like that. So these are really nice. I ran these on my Suzuki's with nitrous back in the day, and they work really well. I didn't have any problems with that. What else? Okay, so for what I'm doing to that engine, that 07 engine, it doesn't have your typical timing marks. Okay, so on the flywheel, there's no hole in the side and an inspection hole for the timing marks. So I have to bring it up on top dead center on the front cylinder. And I got these, I don't know if you guys can see, maybe not. There's a little scale on the side of this thing, but it's 12mm. It came with two styles of plugs, okay? Basically, I can bring this up and I can put an indicator on this so that I can get my true top dead center. That way I'll be able to set the timing system or the ignition, the dyno up on it and get it correct. But like I said, I have to use an indicator and one of these top dead center tools to find true top dead center so I can static time it. And then I do know that for every 30 thousandths you move it is about 2 degrees. So if I want to back it off, you know, I can rotate it counterclockwise 30 thousandths. That gives me 2 degrees. So that's the best solution I can come up with no marks on the engine anywhere to reference from, is to find true top dead center on the #1 cylinder and static time to that. So, and then go from, there. I think that's all we got for new parts. What some of the other things I wanted to go over with you guys are some of the differences in some of the stuff you can buy, albeit frames, engines, and we'll start with the flywheels. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have a set of flywheels. I do have a set. They're right there in the van, okay, inside that 2001 engine, but I haven't broke it down yet. So those flywheels in that engine are the ideal ones because they have a straight crank pin that is not, it's pressed to the flywheel halves straight through. It's not tapered like this old deal out of the, those of you that have followed the channel, you know that this is the set of flywheels that came out of the OG Sportster, the original engine. But you look, you can see they have a tapered crank pin that has a nut on both sides holding all this together. Now what happens with this taper fit deal, what happens with that is the higher you spin it, the faster you spin it, the harder you spin it, the more they deflect and try to separate like this, and they'll start rubbing the sides of the cases, and they'll eventually increase your run out to a non-serviceable level. Now, there's a bunch of these out there. They're in race bikes. I know some guys run them. You can have them rebuilt with a new pin, new bearings, Carrillo rods. Some guys actually weld the nuts to keep it from coming loose, but for higher RPM applications, I just don't feel like those will be adequate for what I'm doing, because I think I'm going way beyond 6,000 RPM. So on my newer other bikes, not the OG. The OG I shipped at 65 because it has a stock set of those in it right now. So it makes it through this season with no problems. I'm going to remedy that this winter and just probably take one of these other sets I've got. This one, this 97 set, I've got a 99 set of flywheels in there. Unfortunately, I only have one set of flywheels from a 2001, and those are going to have to go in the hot street / non-bagger engine build. So, because I have to have those flywheels for that engine for it to live. So these will be fine in the bracket bike with a good rebuild and stuff, but those are one of the things you want to consider, your flywheels. If you're going to build a high horsepower, high RPM engine, you don't want these. You want from 2000 to 2003. 883 or 1200, doesn't matter. It's the same part number. I don't know what the part number is, but you can find them. And while we're talking about that, cases. So the 2000 to 2003 cases, they, see if I can get you all up here to look at this. Okay. There are some subtle differences, but these things, I mean, you can spot the differences right away with the, it has two pins right here that keep the lifters straight. And the older ones had a triangle plate with a single bolt in it. So what you've got here is smaller diameter lifters, which makes the cases beefier through here, and they hold up a lot better when you're boring them out to 90 cubic inches, because the cases actually have to be bored out to fit the 90 cubic inch deal. Right here is a set of Screaming Eagle 110 twin cam heads. I still 100% haven't decided what I'm going to do for that engine build, the hot street non-bagger engine build. I haven't 100% decided on that one yet. So I do have a set of Buell XB heads that I might possibly use. It depends on, sorry guys, if y'all are down south, you know how hot it is right now. Like I said, I don't know who's going to do my top end yet. I haven't 100% made up my mind. I'm leaning towards XLXB horsepower, Chad Hart. That's why I picked up those twin cam heads, so he could build me a Twinster. That's what he calls it. So twin cam heads on a Sportster engine on a 90 cubic inch. Some advice I picked up at the races recently. That's how I know about the cases, the flywheels, and really I was just going into this thing blind, y'all. I raced import bikes most of my life, and I didn't really know much about the Harleys, but I'm learning pretty quick. Knock on wood, I haven't broke anything or had any catastrophic failures yet. I came close on that 07 fuel injected engine. I remember I said that those stock flywheels were okay. There wasn't anything wrong with them. Well, that was actually not accurate, because once they arrived at Dark Horse to be refurbished and rebuilt, true balanced welded Carrillo rods, the whole 9 yards. Andrew called me to get a deposit to get started on them once he got them, and I asked him, hey man, what did you find? And they had a little bit of run out, and they had a lot of wear on the rod bearings in the crank pin. It was getting ready to let go. So if I would have tried to roll the dice and go ahead and put that hot top end on that engine and put nitrous on it, hell, it probably wouldn't have survived just the top end alone. Probably would have failed. And then that would have been all that money down the drain. Now granted, I'm going to be almost $1,900 deep in those flywheels, but I'll be able to beat on them hard and they'll hold up. So that was the idea there. Okay, let's talk about frames. Let me see if I can get you all in the picture here. Let me try to get this thing angled down here a little bit. Let's try this. Okay, I hope y'all can see this. Okay, so the frame on your right, my left, is a 1997 frame. This is the frame that we're going to build the budget build giveaway bike. This one here and the extended swing arm. So that's what this one is slated for, but just for illustration here, I want to show you guys. This one here is a 1985. Okay, this is an older frame, but you can see, hope y'all can hear me all right, all this stuff from here and here all the way out is welded on cast iron brackets. Extremely heavy stuff, okay? So I think in 95 they started doing this. Yes, 95, because this frame from 84 to 94 is all tubular. It's all tubular steel and stamped metal. It is not cast iron. There's no cast iron on this frame. One of the things that I did learn about this one is because of the age of this one, I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but there's a big kickstand deal right here. Okay, now I actually have to cut this off for my 01 engine cases to fit, otherwise the primary would hit right here. Okay, so apparently there was some differences in the engines back then, but this thing, I can tell you by picking it up, it is a lot lighter. And I don't want to, well, that one does have a swing arm on it, but even without a swing arm, that one was still considerably heavier. So if you're building one of these bikes from scratch, by all means, if you don't have anything and you just want to build one, here's what you want to do. Okay, you want the lightest, that you possibly can. You want a frame from 1984 to 1994, because it's all tubular and stamped metal brackets. It's not castings welded together like the 95 and up frames. Okay, and then the rubber mounted ones are even worse. They've got way more cast iron in them. Engine wise, okay, find a 2000 to 2003, doesn't matter whether it's an 883 or a 1200, find a 2000 to 2003 engine, because that has all the good parts you need. It has the good cases with the smaller diameter lifters. It has the 2 bolt through pins that pass all the way through on the side of the lifter to keep the lifters from rotating, turning. That's the better deal. The diameter is smaller, the cases are heavier, thicker right there, okay? And you also want those flywheels because they're stronger. Even if you run them without getting them welded, there's still a lot less of this deflection going on because it's not a tapered fit like the other ones. So those are the pieces that you guys want to find. Hopefully that's helpful information. Cylinder heads. Yeah, let's talk cylinder heads real quick. Okay, so let's say you're building an engine that you don't want to spend $1,500 on the heads getting them ported. Well, what you want are actually the fuel injected heads. They actually flow better. They're the best flowing stock casting heads there are, according to Hammer Performance. As cast, they are the best flowing heads out of all the Sportster heads. They're better than the Buell Thunderstorm heads, which I have on the OG bike. The downside is the intake manifold is wider. Okay, it's further apart. Not sure why they've done that, but it's further apart. Now, what you can do is you can buy an 04 to 06 carburetor intake manifold and use it on your fuel injected heads. But from 04 up, they got wider. Hope that's correct. If you guys know better than that or different, let me know in the comments. That's my understanding, is the 04 to 06 carburetor manifolds will fit on the fuel injected heads. So if not, you have to buy aftermarket intake like I did for my 07 from Hammer Performance, and I got a little over 300 bucks in that thing with the options and stuff I had on it. But that's also to fit a 48 millimeter Mikuni. So, so the cylinder heads, I think, I'm pretty sure on these 2000 to 03s, you also have the better pinion gear, and the camshafts, obviously from 91 to 99 will not fit. Well, they will fit in the engine, but you have to run that earlier pinion gear, which I wouldn't. You want to run 2000 and later camshafts. Obviously you want to find a bronze pump gear. Good luck with that. They're on back order pretty much everywhere. The last one I bought, I paid $150 for. So let's see, what else? Camshafts. Yeah, I was talking about camshafts. You have to clearance for, like, if you get up around 5, you know, the 04 and ups, the case is really just, you could run a 600 lift cam in there with no problem. You just had to clearance the back side of the lobes on the number 2 and 3 because they would touch the pinion bearing race. So they had to be clearance to clear that, but they cleared the lifter bosses, lifter bores and everything. So they just go right in, man. What else we got? What else we got? Yeah, so I don't know much about the 883 heads other than they're a lot smaller chamber. The valves are longer and they're a lot closer together. So you can pretty easily get into trouble with overlap with your camshafts. So running a big camshaft with an 883 is just not an option. I do know 883 heads, like let's just say you do a 1275 conversion on your 883 and you want to put a cam in it. Fueling has a 505, 515 cam set that is specifically for running 883 heads. That actually works quite well. But other than that, I have no idea. And you know, that may be big enough, may not be big enough for what you're doing. Just depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to go as fast as you possibly can, that is absolutely not the setup for you. But if you're just wanting to build a bracket race bike, that's probably perfect. Hopefully this information is helpful. Just a few of the things that were on my mind I wanted to share with y'all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good one.